This is a video for the Luke 140 Syndicate. Well, everyone, we got Luke off the farm for the first time of the year at the old Pinetop horse trials. I took him to a little jumping show about 2 weeks ago. It was an unrecognised jumping show, and he was a good boy there. And then this is sort of his first horse trial of the year. And I decided to go a little bit easy on him. First event of the year, I'm sort of still looking after his legs a bit. And I put him in the open prelim. Mostly because I'm sort of just coming back to full strength now. I had this big hip and abductor surgery in the beginning of December, and I'm cleared to ride and everything, but I'm still not perfect on trot up, if you know what I mean. So and I knew Luke would be a bit wild here too, so I was sort of figuring smaller jumps and me a bit weak and out of fitness. Maybe it's better to play it a bit safe and put him in the prelim, but it wouldn't have mattered what class we're in. Luke was very, very good. I will say in the warm-up for the dressage, he was on edge, and I was very glad that you can almost see a bit of a buck in his every canter stride here. I was very glad that it was nice weather there. The weather was actually warm, so it was usually this one can be cold and windy. Anyway, Luke, he did a good enough test. To be honest, these events aren't very, they don't really go in Luke's favour, the little sort of rinky-dink horse trials where you arrive in the morning and spin him around, and then, like Luke's, he's a horse that loves to get settled in, and the shows that he really thrives on are the big events where you're there for a couple of days and you can get him familiar. But today was all just about giving him a nice, easy run. Also, always keeping his soundness in my back of my mind. So, I didn't go very fast in the cross country. I was about 30 or 35 seconds slower than what they wanted me to go. But it was more trying to keep Luke sane, keep me fit and strong, and. But Luke felt very, very confident in all phases. So next week, if he looks good on trot up and his legs feel good, I might take him down to Ocala, Florida, on Tuesday, and then I plan to meet my jumping coach down there and maybe jump Luke on Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe do the bigger class, maybe 1.25 m, and then the second day 1.30 m. I've sort of been pampering Luke and telling myself that jumping these little baby classes is good for his legs, but I think my goal is to either run him at Kentucky 5-star or Lemoulin 5-star. So we better start putting him in some atmosphere and over some big jumps, so it's not a huge shock and surprise when we get to a 4-star this spring. The great thing with Ocala, it's got unbelievable stadiums. There's a stadium in front of a hotel, and there's another. I don't know. It's just, and the jumps are really dazzling, and there's a lot of energy and excitement, which will make him quite hard to ride. But I often think that exposing yourself to challenging competitions on good footing will serve us well in his training. It will. He's a great jumper. If I had to fault him in the show jumping and cross country, which you see in the minute, he was very, very excited and keen, and he was sort of running at the jumps a bit, and I was. The jumps aren't quite small enough to slow him down as well. They're a bit too small, and he just sort of gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Saying that, I felt like he wasn't horrible, and I was sort of expecting him to be a bit wild for the first event of the year. One thing about him, he's just an incredible jumper. He's a wild, feisty horse, but just as you get to the jump, he pings off the ground, and he's got he's what I'd call very cat-like. He can really sort of twist his body and turn his legs upside down not to hit the jump. You can see now he's starting to get a little bit bolder and bolder on me. This week we had Peter Wild came and We had a good session actually. I didn't over jump Luke. He didn't jump a whole heap, but we put him through some gymnastic exercises. I think I emailed you some of the footage. And Luke's fitness is very good. He's still a bit heavy, if you ask me. I think at the moment he's cantering or a slow gallop, 4 miles once a week, and then he's doing once a week these 2-hour walking and trotting through the woods, and then he's doing his dressage and jumping on top of that. So, and don't forget, we've had him going since sort of September. So I think it's the fitness is an accumulation of fitness, but he hasn't, until we start really doing the fast gallops, which will start in March, he still looks a little bit tubby around his belly. Cross country, he's good. I mean, it wasn't all good, to be honest. What you're seeing here is a good part. Stephanie videoed him, and he was quite settled at the beginning of the course. These events here, well, this venue here is a great venue because it's such an open cross country, and you can really work at getting the horses settled in. As the course goes on, Luke got braver and braver, and there was a couple of the jumps where I really had to wrestle with him. But like I said before, he's such a good jumper. He's a good boy. This was supposed to be a 5-stride line, and I sort of cut the turn and got across there easily in 4. He's got a really big stride, and if you just soften your hand and squeeze him a bit, his canter stride grows into feels like a 20-foot stride all of a sudden. So the hard thing at the big events is actually slowing him down without fighting him too much. Once you get going fast, he really loves it. So this is the sort of last third of the course. He'd already done a water jump out the back. I will say, just in thinking about it now, the 2 water jumps on the course, he's always a bit weird with water. We practice it in school a lot, but at the competition, especially when they dye the water bright blue, he gets a little bit sort of a 4-foot landing there. He's never going to stop on us, but he sort of jumps really high and lands on all 4s sometimes. So it's something I've got to keep an eye on, especially when we get to the big 5 stars, that sometimes he lands a little bit awkward. We got the USEF vet evaluations. I think they're coming to inspect him on Monday. And then Tuesday we'll drive down to Ocala. And then I'll probably run him back in the intermediate here in 2 weeks and do another slow one, I think. I'm just worried it's a lot of jumping in 2 weeks, but I also think we're going to be ready for our spring 5-star goal. We've got to start sticking it to him a bit, and we need him, have mileage on him, fitness on him, because we would have lost a little bit of fitness over the last year where he was healing up. Anyway, guys, so far so good, and I'll check in with you again after we jump down there in Ocala, Florida.